Okay, I need my screen down. Okay, we left off last time with, I'll make mine a little skinnier here. We added the single row with 2 columns. Inside one column, we just entered a word basically to make space there, and then the second one, food and water, whatever yours said. We added a descriptive box color, name and color class, and we also told it to be at 50%. So the styles that we have, so in your own styles, globally, so the ones that were kind of important here, if I'm in my phone size, I don't want my columns to wrap. Okay, so if I skinny this up to a phone, then they're gonna wrap on top of themselves, so stack. Whereas if I get to tablet and above, I do want them to be side by side. So when I go to the min width 768, then I've got a column that's got, oh, and by the way, we added a little bit of just margin around it, some spacing. So we did 7 pixels left and right, and then a little bit further more on the bottom for our column padding. But we're floating them left, so one is to the left of the other. Remember, that was a similar to our nav bar. Remember, each of our list items, we floated them one to the left of one another. And then, and I think that was about it there. So then that affects, you know, all the way, so we don't have to reset it for the 992 because it's changing it. The other thing we did just for the column to be at 50% is just name it something. So it's a column, kind of a medium width, which is our tablet, medium size screen, 1/2, in other words, 50%. And that was just a width of 50%. Okay, so hopefully, did that work okay for everybody? I think we had a couple of errors, that missing bracket, you know, whatever the minor little things are. So I think we're ready to go on, and I have a div. So this last one, I think we all have the first box, you know, starting our main, we've got the first box with something in it, and then we've got our 2 columns. So the next thing we'll do within the main area is create kind of a 4-box type of look. So we'll again create another class and maybe add some pictures in there and such. On the Word document, so we did the row after, again, that after a row, it will allow normal appearance from that point forward, with table display clearing both and content all forward. We already did the div class column, added the, and by the way, just as a reminder again, so when you're creating your class, we have to tell it, make sure you adhere to the div class COL when it's at global size, and call medium 1/2 when it's at the full size. So that's why that's all there. Back to the Word document, so I'll keep scrolling down here. And I think we did all that already. We added some information as far as coloring to the box. Did that. There's our food, water, and treats. So we'll add some more here. So after the next row, so let's go ahead and click after, and you might want to make some space here. I'll skinny mine up so that you can see more of my code. Okay, so I'm after that 2-column row. Okay, so I'm going to create another row. So that's .row with a tab key, remember. And let's So we can go ahead and enter key there, add a couple of enter keys. And then within this row, we want to have 4 columns. Okay, so I'll just tab key so that I have an organization that's similar to everything else. So again, I can do my dot call and then tab key, and I get my column. And we can put anything in here if you want to do box 1 for now, and then we'll come back and fix everything to how we want it. But then we'll do the same thing. So dot col tab key box 2. Same thing with dot call tab key box 3. And again, dot call tab key box 4. And you can go ahead and do a file and then save all at this point. So they're all on top of one another. Again, we haven't created or applied any class to our little boxes here. See, Aaron. Okay, so far so good on getting your, and it is up and down. So it's a 1 row, they all stack at this point because they just are applying the class call from global, which says go 100%, don't do anything else. So let's go ahead, and what we can see here, so remember how we've got dot class, you know, the call and then the call medium 1/2. So if I were to skinny this down, you know, maybe I would want this to break into, so if I'm at tablet, maybe I'd want those to break to 2, and then maybe I'd want them to break to 4. So if I'd want to do that, I can go ahead and just highlight and copy and paste. I've already got the code, so I can just copy the space bar all the way through column medium 1/2, Control C. And then for each one of my class equals call, I'm going to go ahead and paste. File, save all. And again, at global size, they stack one on top of one another. As I go to medium screen, they're going to stack. And then I didn't change anything else for my 992 at this point yet. So I may want to get to this point and then go to four boxes. Okay, so far so good? Okay, so let's make a class, and same thing as we've done in the past. We want to go to your styles, and we have, you know, the regular column one I think is fine at 100% for these boxes, and maybe we'll change that, but at this point we'll leave it as is. Maybe we want the medium applied, and then when we get here we might want it to stretch to 4. So that's where we do need to make sure that we add to, so your styles, the min width of 992 and above, and then I want to add a selector. So I do the same thing with the plus, and I might name this similarly. So I'm going to start with a class, which is a period, and then COL, so it's a column, and then my hyphen, and this time maybe I want to tell it this is for large screen display, so I want an LG for large, and then it's not 1/2, it's 1/4. So I might want to do dot call hyphen LG for large hyphen 1/4. And there's a U in fourth, sorry about that. Go forth. So F-O-U-R-T-H, if we want to be correct about that, which we probably do. Almost looks like there's a space right there, but I don't think there is. Nope. It's just the characters look funny. Oops. Okay, so call large 1/4. And then you may have to enter key a couple of times there just so you get the blue readiness. And this one is going to be width of 25%. So that's just right at the top there. And we want to do a percent. And then I can just type in my 25%. Then we would want to add another class. So once we get it in here once, we can copy and paste. But for my first box, or box 1, right after call medium 1/2, I'm going to space again. And then COL hyphen, and it's not going to, oh, we might have to do a file save all, sorry, file save all, and then I bet it'll help us out. Maybe not. I might do a file save all again. It should have helped me out. We can copy and paste it now. Again, the space between. The what? CSS file. Yeah, it's not finding it. I wonder if it became unlinked. So all this, and if you should know if it became unlinked. So if I did the old minus sign here, everything goes away. Did yours do that? I mean, everything goes away. But then if it does do that, so this is good to know in case that happens for whatever reason. It may happen if you either renamed your style sheet or potentially renamed folders or moved from one place to another. That might happen, but especially renaming and renaming folders would cause problems. But I can go back and I can attach my existing and browse for it, locate it, and everything then is back again. So with the little plus sign on, so go to your CSS designers handle. Yeah, it says it's there. You can go to File, Open, and then click on your style, and then open it, and it should, okay, and then you can go back to your text. Yeah, it should. That usually does happen. This is here, though. That would worry me if that wasn't there. Yeah, so it looks good. Everything looks like it's all there. Yeah. Yours work okay? Okay, so got that, 992, and okay, do a file save all to make sure, and let's go to your style. Yep, and let me go down on your mouse here. Okay, so that's all global. That. And usually this part will be, see there's an error. Almost, I wonder. Cut that. I'll get rid of that. space there. There, and then paste. It still doesn't seem to like that, does it? Oh, now it will like it. No, 768, but then did it change? I mean, sometimes then it just goes elsewhere. And I don't think we need all three of those, but I'll save it again, make sure we don't get an error. Oh. For some reason, it didn't want to. Oh. That one's there, so I think it does want one here, and that. Oh, yeah. Then we can get rid of that one. Let's do file save all now. Okay, I don't see errors there. I don't see errors there. Okay. And that's something weird. The footer is at the end. We haven't done anything with our footer yet, so we're okay. So you've got your row. I may need to come and work with yours a little bit. Yeah. And it's also weird that that is larger, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, we need a space right there. Oh. And a space right there. Oh, there we go. I'll save all. Yep, all, I know. All the characters, they all make sense, but it is very, yep, it is. Okay. So you can put anything in these boxes. We have type in here, but I could put, and I'm not sure if I've got an image. Let me just look and see what I've got. I don't have anything else I'd want to put in. So I think in Photoshop, I mean, there's, oh, bow swimming. Okay. So we can just put Bo swimming. In fact, we could put him in all of them if we want to, but we can download him and go ahead and just put him in. So I'm going to show him in my folder, and I'm going to copy him, and I'll go ahead and put him in my Bo designs, but in my assets. So remember, images are going to go in your assets. So I'll just paste him there, and we can use the same file 4 different times if we want to. So you can include text and an image, or just the image itself. But if I wanted to replace, let's say, you know, with box 1, maybe I want to have the image of Bo there. So I'll go ahead and get rid of my type, and then I can go to insert, and I can insert an image. And I look for my browsing, you know, my images there, and I found Bo swimming, and then he's in box 1. And again, my alt text, Bo swimming. And I could copy and paste this if you wanted to, you know, have 4 boxes just to see how this behaves. You know, Control C, and then paste it 4 different times. Sure, yes, that's exactly what you should do. But if you don't have any. You can color them and put type in them. I left, so you can leave your box 1 and box 2 if you want to. I can leave my text there and it floats underneath the box. I can apply a class to that type if I want to. And again, we can save the whole thing. You want to see what it looks like. We can see here, obviously, but on our full screen, we've got fuzzy, blurry dog running, and he's swimming. And then we can make it smaller. So at a small screen, you know, at little size, phone size, Bo is bigger. And then I pull it out. Pretty soon there's 2 and 2. And then I keep pulling it out, and then there's 4. If you liked 3 as opposed, so you can do a 33%, I would, or you could, yeah, I'd probably do percent on that. You could have padding that was in a percent, so everything added up to 100 if you felt better about that rather than 7. Remember, we had that 7 pixel padding. So if you felt like 1 pixel padding, now that's going to change again with mobile to tablet to desktop, what 1% looks like. And then we've got a footer, and I've got a bunch of space here I'll go ahead and get rid of. So in my main, you know, I've got the first box, my 2 boxes, and my 4 boxes are all in main. And then footer, we just have garbage text at this point. So in the footer, we might want to add our name. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, enter some stuff here. Are you ready to add content for your footer, at least a little bit? And you can apply headings. You can create a footer. We're going to actually create a footer class that's going to apply to our type, and we can add, you know, color and all sorts of stuff around it. So I made this just right now, maybe just want to type my name. Actually, maybe Bo, whoopsie, B-A-U-X. My name, maybe I'm the owner, I don't know, webmaster, whatever I want to be. Maybe it's a copyright of 2020. There's a current date feature that can be applied, so I'll wait till you get caught up here a minute. So maybe in the footer section, add a little bit, and you can get rid of that garbage type. And I probably need breaks too if I want this to be separated out. I can add some sort of a bullet character or a glyph if I want it to be all in a row. So I guess it kind of depends on what you want it to look like, but if I did want to have breaks, I'd probably want to add them. And just so you can see the date function, so there's insert on your panel, and you'll want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll probably see date. There's also, there's also copyright, so we may want to do the little copyright thing too. There's a registered trademark, there's a trademark, so it depends on, you know, your business. But we'll first start with the date here. So right under the copyright, so there's the date function. There's all sorts of date formats that you can pick. So if you like the spelled out month with a figure, comma, space, 1974, I don't know if that's somebody's birthday or what happened on that date, but that's the day we get to see. There's military time format, there's just figure format, so pick one that you like. And then if you want to add a time, if that's important, if it's something that updates regularly, like sports scores, for example, that might be really important. May not be so much for what I have, but there could be an update on save so that when I come in here and update all my pages that I might want that to update to the day that I worked on it last, and then I want to post it probably, and my visitor then would know that that's an up-to-date web page. So you can say okay, and there's this little date format here, so it gives us today. And maybe I want to add after Bodog Designs, maybe I want to add, if it's either copyrighted or trademarked or something like that, I can add something, and then maybe I just want to do the 2020 there. And maybe I want to get rid of that completely, or I might want something else. Maybe an address. I don't know what I want. I'm leaving space for myself. And then you can go ahead and save it. Again, everybody's will be different as far as what you add there. You may want to have links to Facebook, which we'll do one of those here in just a minute. And as far as making it look nice, so that doesn't look very good right now. Does everybody have a little bit in there? Okay. So let's go to our CSS Designer panel. And the footer should affect everything. So this really should be a global style that will apply. So I want to go to My Styles on Global, and I'm going to add a new one. So new selector, new class, and we'll call it footer, I think, let's see. Oh, we'll create two of them actually. So the footer, if we don't do a period in front of it, remember that's just going to overstrike the tag. So any footer we have versus a class would apply maybe just to the text. So we may want to do two. So I'll just call this one footer, meaning that it's going to replace every footer that it sees. Okay, and we'll do padding. So I'm going to cruise down here a little bit. So padding, maybe we want 20 pixels left and right and 30 pixels top and bottom. And again, we may want to change that, but. Okay, so that gives us space around. Background color, so let's go to BG color. And again, I can take that. If you need to see your first box, if you want to make everything kind of align with one another, or you could take the same, again, color from here. If you want a different color, so again, choose what you want. But if you need to have a picture in view there, make sure you get the picture in view, and then I can go to my background color. I could grab my eyedropper, and again, I can look at maybe some greens, more browns, darker greens, olives. I don't like the dark. That would be too hard to see, so it depends on what color my type is going to be. So maybe I like that color. I don't know. I'll have to look at all that. It didn't change, and is it just called footer or dot footer? Just footer. And you've got the footer tag that your work is within. Put a file, save all. Okay, and global there, and it's footer, and you've got each color. Try maybe even closing one or the other, maybe just close the index, and then when you're, yeah, open it back up again. And now it did. I think it's a refresh issue. I don't know if it's the wireless or if it's software. You know what I mean? Because it's software, I don't know. Could be any number of issues. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't tend to refresh as we hope it will. And then let's make another style that applies to our type. So again, same thing with your style. It is a global one. And add a selector. This one is going to be a class. So we'll call it dot and then footer. And you can do footer hyphen text, footer underscore text, whatever you want to do. So it's footer text. And I guess pick a font size. I'll go to my T tools. You can do a pix or you can do small, extra small. It's on medium by default. If I did pixel size, I can do 13. I haven't applied it yet, so I'd probably want to try it. If I want to apply the class, then I'd have to go to footer and then class equals, start my quotes, and footer text, and then there's the size. So it might help, I'm going to do a file save all. It might help if you actually apply footer text, come back again and check your properties and see if you want to change them. And again, the HTML is defining our type. So if you feel like you want a different type, you know, the font style itself. And again, your weight, there's all sorts of things. Center align, if you feel like you want to center align it, you can. And I can adjust that font size up, adjust my font family. I could set it to something totally different, which I probably wouldn't want to do, but oh, there's also, oops, manage, okay. So we haven't done this either. We'll go check this out just so you can see what other font styles there are. So there's some web online fonts, and just so you can check it out, so where font family's at, and again, I'm on the footer text. We'll just practice here. We can always trash can it if you don't like it. But I'm on my footer text, my font family, and if you picked something, go ahead and click on that again, and way at the bottom you should see Manage Fonts. Okay, so choose Manage Fonts, and what you get is Adobe Edge Web Fonts, and there's a whole bunch of them. And you can kind of keep cruising down here. I can get something that's totally different than what, you know, if I want a brush script, there's Butcher Man, speaking of Halloween, Buddha, B-U-D-A, if I want to see what that looks like, cabin, so pick one, and then it doesn't automatically switch to it, so it still is remembering segue. So I need to go click on it one more time and then get it. But the problem with that might be, so first of all, I'm not so sure I like it. Sometimes, and at 13 pixels, I really don't like it. So I may have, it's a small font. And maybe if I go 20 might be too big. But you can't always be guaranteed that, like, the trademarks, the copyrights, any special characters that you use, you're not guaranteed that that's going to work. But if you like something different like that, you can, sure, there's a ton of them, and they're kind of fun. Oh, I did a font weight of 300. I'll trash can that. Pixel 15 might be okay. And then as far as Facebook, so I have not been on my Facebook in a really long time, so I have no idea even what. Facebook. And I happen to know mine. I think, I don't think there's much you'll be able to see. So what you can do, and actually let me go back there again. So if I wanted the little Facebook logo, so I can type in Facebook logo, something like that. And let's say I want, and then I go to images, and then you can pick, do I want the square one? Do I want a round one? Do I want something that's quite large? This one is really large, 1200 by 1208. There's some space around it, but it's huge. There's a round one. I'll probably have to size it down. So that if you like just the little thumbs up, you know, like me on Facebook, you can do something like that too. So maybe if I think I like this little round one, and I should be able to right mouse click on it and then save image as, and if I put it into my folder, so I'll go ahead and put it into my, looks like it's stored as a ping, so I'm going to go to my doc or my Bodog Designs into assets, and I think you can probably just call it Facebook logo. We can name it ourselves. If I want to maintain, now it's telling it JPEG image, so it's wanting to automatically, it'll add a white background with it. So if you're okay with that, otherwise we may need to find another one that actually lets us use the ping version, or as you know, we could call that up in Photoshop. Super easy to get rid of the white part and then save it with transparency, save it in ping. And we could do that really quick. Open up Photoshop. So we'll see how large this little Facebook image is. So that'll take a sec to get in here. So if I open my assets, the little Facebook logo, you must have stored with, I wonder if we'll see that checkerboard because that's a JPEG image. That's what that's going to look like. So we may actually need to use our elliptical tool in this case. So because this stored as a JPEG, those checkerboards are not transparent checkerboards. So this is a JPEG with those behind there. So I might need to go to my elliptical marquee tool, and actually I'll probably shift key because this should be circular. Remember how you shift key, draw your circle, and it's not going to be sized correctly most likely. So then you can go to select, transform selection, and then pull it out. And it doesn't have to be, you know, you want to make sure that it's blue everywhere around it. But then I can up arrow key, so if I'm really close, but I can up arrow key, all that good stuff, and then enter key. Control C to copy it, Control V to paste it. Now I truly do have a transparent background. I don't need it to be this big, so I can actually go to my crop tool and crop it in quite a bit. And image size, this is at 100%. That's huge. Image size, I don't need anything close to that. I might need 50 pixels square. So again, something tiny, and everybody's going to be different. So I'm just going to do a tiny little Facebook, okay? And then I might file save as. I'd like it to be transparent. So I can either do file export and get the ping, or I can just do file save as. This is so small, it shouldn't make a difference. It's my Facebook logo.ping, save, file size large. I can probably do a medium even, because it doesn't have to be very, very good, and save it. And then when I come into Dreamweaver, so instead of my address, maybe I want that little Facebook image, so I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to insert an image. I'm going to insert my little one, so that's the ping. Okay. Ooh. Oh, because images are 100%, I bet, aren't they? Logo, I wonder if I can do width, width equals 50. I don't know if I can force it in there or not. Height equals 50. No, the image tag is making it larger. Remember those image tags we have in global and IMG saying width 100%? That's what it's doing. So I may need to, so we've got style logo, max width 101. I may need to add a new one and just call it FB logo, just because of how I did this. So dot FB, or you could even do dot social logo, so that all your social logo, maybe all of them are going to be 50 pixels. And then width pix 50. And then that's not going to work. Class equals social logo. Okay, I don't know if that made much sense, but remember image, so that was why that was so humongous. We told it to be 100% of whatever width, so, and to auto height, max width 100%. And then we styled, so remember to get our logo to be little, because we kind of had the same problem with our logo. We added a little style just for that logo and created a width of whatever yours was, displaying it in block. So if we do all of our social logo sizes to be whatever your width is, 50, 75, and just the pixel dimension that you need. That should size it down. And then I added a little bit of alt text. And then I'd also want this to be a hyperlink. And we should see on our insert panel, so that's email, not hyper, so we'll do an insert hyperlink, but I would want that to link to my Facebook page automatically, so if my viewer clicked on that, they would go to my Facebook page. And again, you need to be highlighting that whole thing, so that the image itself, and if I click off of it and then back on it, it does highlight the whole thing. And if I insert, and you'll see on insert on the menu, hyperlink, So the text, and I've got alt text actually there, but I could, you know, Facebook to, I don't know, dog design, whatever you think it should be. My link, http://www.facebook.com/ and I think this is how I have it. It's been so long since I've done this, but I think it's just my first name dot last name is what I did. So when a corporation goes in, or a business, or anybody goes in, you can create your link to Facebook. Target, I may want it to be a brand new page, so a target blank means that when somebody clicks that, it'll open. Remember, we've done that before, open another page. And title could be the same thing. And maybe I just want a hyphen, something like that. I did blank. And then you can say okay to all that. Did I do it wrong? Okay, something doesn't like something here. My anchor, let's see, my anchor hyperlink reference should be, anchor hyperlink reference should be at the beginning. Oh, it didn't do the Facebook, okay. Image. Okay, so I'll try to fix this. Control X. And we go, so anchor, hyperlink reference. Image. Title, alt. Oh, and then Facebook. Wow, it really added dot Facebook dot logo dot ping. Boy, it moved stuff all over, didn't it? My anchor goes at the end, Control X, Control V. I should have the anchor at the beginning. Where's my image? Isn't that right? So it's going there, but there, insert. Next. I'm trying more. But that's still, anchor, having reference, that, title, target. I don't think that made that. Oh, that's the link. Oh, so then, okay, this is different than what it's been. Sorry about that. So I need my reference to be the image. Whoops, huh? Hang on just a second. Sorry. G. Okay. Oh, the target is where I'm going. So my anchor hyperlink reference is there. My link. Okay, so sorry about that. Where are you at again? Global. Not that this is probably going to help. Social logo. Where are you? Which one? Just 50 pixels. But it seems to be missing right now. Okay, so if I have my logo, wait, okay, image source is that. And my, so that's the image source, my anchor href. Is equals HTTP Facebook. There. I don't think the titles matter. Class, alt, design Facebook. I'll save all. Still doesn't like it. Facebook logo. Okay. So that's okay. Here it is. Hmm. Oh. Okay, we're getting there. But file, save all. Gee whiz, you know how sometimes things just don't quite go well? Okay. Well, that works now. Okay, so then I'll go, and then I'm missing my like title and all that good stuff. So I can get rid of all this garbage. Swim, bow, alt, swim, anchor, get rid of that, div class, ending anchor, box 4, file, save all. So I think box 4 is okay now. So that's back to basics. Okay, so adding, you have to have the anchor hyperlink reference first. So your anchor hyperlink reference, now does it not like it again? Attribute, so I think I need some other stuff on there. So my anchor hyperlink reference, and you can just go to facebook.com. You don't need to open up a page, for example. And then end with, so if you don't have anything else beyond that, just facebook.com. End with your right bracket, so the anchor hyperlink reference going to Facebook has to end with a right facing bracket. Your next line or next piece of code then is your image source. That's the little image we just created. And that has to be coming from assets, which I was missing there for a while. I had the name right, of course, but it's coming from our folder. And then the class, making it smaller, that social logo class. And then I'm also missing alt equals, oops, that's equals. I think that's the message I'm getting. Bodog design, Facebook. Let's see if that might help. I don't know. Save all. Yeah. It knew that I didn't have an alt text and it doesn't like that. And again, if I want title text, that's the same thing. I can copy that same exact, Control C, space, Control V, but then I would just tell it title. So I'll leave that up there for a minute so that you can see all the pieces and parts, and then it's important to end our anchor. Do you want me to highlight that and blow it up? Does that help? Is it big enough or bigger? It's not working? Have you set yourself up as your first name and last name? Is there an S on it or just HTTP? You might try without the S, I'm not sure. Oh, it still is working. Oh, you know what, Edge sometimes, I try, right now, and then open the browser, try Google. There. I don't know why Edge doesn't refresh, but that's another one of those refresh issues. Okay, are you having issues with yours? Okay. Do you need to schedule some time to get caught up, or? Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can, I don't blow them up.
Oh, I can read
You
it.
can read it, okay, because it's really tiny.
Yeah, I can read it. It's just trying to follow the directions. You have to just not get caught up.
Okay, and I can help do that.
So,
And then- Okay,
try to set that up.
okay. And are you doing okay with yours then?
The only thing I'm gonna catch up on the honest as but that part I just won't show everything. But I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, and do you have this little, oh, it's IMG source. Oh, no, huge class, okay, yeah. Source. And do you have the names, let's go to files, you can be sure that, and it could be it's coming from assets. Oh, we haven't set this whole thing up yet, that's why. And they all need to be organized, so let me show you my organization for all. And then you'll have to set up, so I'll actually go through that back on the screen just as a refresher. Yeah, yeah, and if things come unattached, like styles and some things like that, they do get all goofed up.
I can also go through.
How do we get it in the center? Oh, so what was that, sorry?
Oh, I did also haven't gotten a chance to listen to that recording for this, so I should.
Okay. Sorry, what was that again?
How do we center this?
Oh, so, footer text. And then in your T area, so you can scroll down, and there's a line, text align, and I just did center. But you, again, you can pick, if you don't like center very well, then you can pick something different.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the files panel itself, and again, you'll want to make sure that it's set up so all the, and Chloe, I don't know if you can see this on the screen here, but I created one folder that I'm putting everything in. And on my documents, I've got one folder called Bow Designs, okay? And at the root of that folder is what I'm seeing here. So about, contact, and index. Those are my regular old HTML pages. My style sheet is also at the root, okay? And then all of my pictures are in assets, and assets is within Bow Designs. Okay, and then what you'll want to do, and all of your assets, so it's a way to keep your HTML and your cascading style sheets separate from all your pictures, because as you get a whole bunch, it's like they're mixed, and sometimes they might have similar names. A page topic, if it's a recipe page, there might, baking, something like that, there could be similar. So it's just harder to organize things if it's all collected together. And then because we have a folder called assets, whenever you reference a picture, it's coming from, so at the root, it has to go to assets and then open up the little logo. And you'll find that when you set up, so there's a folder or a recording on that, but site, new site is what you'll do. You'll name the site, you'll browse to that new folder that you set up, and then also your default images folder will be assets. And I don't know, sometimes, and this is for everybody, usually the site folder, I'm going to go into manage sites. So once we've set it up, ew, I don't want to do that. Yes. So once I've set up my Bow Designs and I've browsed, to that folder for Bow, That usually doesn't come unselected, but I have seen in prior versions, for whatever reason, sometimes assets gets forgotten, changed, I don't know. And so you may have to rebrowse. So if you start seeing images that aren't showing up, something's going on with those. It could be that you just need to kind of reconnect that and make sure that it's okay. And what was my other, oh, get that smaller. Now I don't know if I remember. I'll go ahead and do file save all. Yeah, I had something else I was going to say and then I forgot. So your styles, and I think I went through that already. So if that becomes, again, same thing, if I'm at my root and my style sheet's there, I know it's there, I know it didn't, and I've seen that happen. I don't know why, but every now and again, that just becomes unhooked.
Okay.
And usually you know it because everything is like, it's gone. All my formatting is gone. And you kind of saw what happened there when I did the minus sign. I mean, everything goes away. So, this one, so that's really based on my image. So that image will go, well, and it's at 100% actually. So the other thing you could do is go to global, so your style global, and then go to that first box. And there's padding set around this one, your image, but the other thing too is we've got the global setting for IMG to be at 100% width and 100% max with auto height. So that is going to push it out as far as it can go, as far as the desktop will allow it to go. And height-wise, you could probably lock that. You could set a pixel dimension on that. So either on first, so I probably wouldn't do it on all IMGs, so it's all images, but maybe on first, you could set a height maybe on that. You could try it, see if it works. The height adjusts, again with mine, the height adjusts with what size screen I'm working with. And that image in first, if you wanted, you know how in our practice project that we did, our homepage had an image of this building, little tiny Missoula College, and then it had at tablet size Lori in the classroom, and then I think the really big image. So if you wanted your first box, depending upon somebody's, view, that can certainly change. As I go to my other pages, so if I were to go to contact, maybe I wouldn't want that picture. Maybe I'd want a different picture, and so it can't be first anymore because that's Bo. It might have to be .contact or something, or I don't know, whatever I wanted to call it. And you can add, so, the social, you can add more of those. If you have an Instagram, if you have a LinkedIn, anything that's connected with your business, or you have another website that you may want to link back to, so you can certainly link to all those. Adding more content, obviously. Oh, email. Let's go to, and I'll just go to my name. I think we've done this already, but there's a really nice feature here. And if I wanted to link just my name, not the whole thing webmaster, if I want to highlight the whole thing, I sure can. But if I want just my name, I'd want to go to insert, and then you'll see email link. So it's 3 blocks down, email link, and then my text, what I want my text to read, and then my email, so that's MAILTO : actually I think, does it do just Cheryl.Gallipo? I think it helps me out at umontana.edu. We'll make sure. Yeah, it helps me out. So I think we added it both ways when we did this before. We did the old coding mechanism versus this one, you just have to type it in. So again, I'll do the same thing. I'll highlight type, go to email link, and your text is what's highlighted. You can type something different if you want. And then just your email, so the email that you want somebody to be directed to. And I just used my, uMontana one. Insert, and then email link. And you can use your uMontana if you want to. So that's as far as I'll go today. And it's, we're about 5 minutes. So again, file, save all. Just be sure that everything seems to be working, so you can refresh and your name is there and linked. Facebook works. Oh, and you can go, as far as colors, you can get colors from your image, but Adobe has color wheel selections for you and color groupings that might be helpful. I don't like that color that I've used.